Hi everybody, here's Krystian from TeamworkCast.
And this is Nick from TeamworkCast.
And this is Netrunning with TeamworkCast. We are doing another exciting game. This one was recorded at a store championship in a store called Würfelkiste in Aachen, a store I never visited before. This was the first time I visited the store, and it's a beautiful store, a highly recommended one. Again, this is a championship, a huge championship. 19 people participated in this championship. That's enormous. And the store opened explicitly on Sunday to let all those people in and let them play Netrunner all day.
That's amazing. You know what else is amazing about this? This guy's playmat.
It is quite exciting. This is one of those kind of playmats that you can win on those tournaments. And yes, this is obviously a way more experienced player than I am. It is Alex, and he's playing Andromeda, and I'm on the left. I'm playing HB Engineering the Future. Let us begin this game.
Okay.
So yes.
Andromeda is the one that lets you have a 9-card hand, right?
Oh,
At
yeah.
the beginning?
Yeah. Andromeda is one of those cards that that was very popular in tournaments. That is basically all the people are playing her because she has like this huge advantage early on. She starts with nine cards. And so you can have like this tremendous opening always with this kind of thing, this kind of identity.
Look at these scrub deck sleeves that you have on.
I love the transparent ones. I love the transparent ones because I like the backs of the cards. The fact that the runners and the corporation have different backs of the cards. I really like that.
Well, that's why you just get different colors.
By the way, that was just the finger of the store owner right there. He wanted to make this video non-family friendly.
I saw. Well, good job.
He succeeded.
Yes.
So I'm playing HB Engineering the Future. I will be getting money every time I install something. And yes, my opponent is Alex, and he's way more experienced than I am. So yeah, this will be an exciting and interesting competition.
Is it exciting? Will you give us some spoilers?
No. You have to figure out what will happen.
Okay.
It is a pretty long game. I mean...
I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah, it is one of our longer games.
So everyone, each of us has clicks. I have 3 clicks, and my opponent Alex has 4 clicks. He tracks the clicks with his tokens. I also track my clicks with the pawns on my identity card. I installed 2 cards, and I got some money. And then he was nice enough to point out that I should have gotten money for installing one of my cards.
That's so nice of him.
He's super nice. He was so sweet. Later on, he won't be as sweet anymore. All right,
that's true.
But he uses an interesting card that I haven't seen before. It is John Mazzanori. Are you familiar with John Mazzanori?
I am not. Although, did we talk about him last game?
No, he wasn't in the last game. This is the first time we've seen him so far. So it's basically it's kind of like a resource, kind of like a buddy of yours who's kind of helping you clear out servers. And if you do a successful run, you can draw a card. So he kind of gives you more resources for successful runs. But if your run is unsuccessful, you get a tag.
Ooh.
So very nice one. And also he played a data sucker, which we saw previously already, where that you a program where you can decrease the strength of ice, but you have to charge it up with counters by doing runs on servers previously.
So what sort of a theme does Andromeda have in terms of the code or the icebreakers that she can use?
Oh, she's very flexible. That's why people love her so much, I think. She can use whatever.
Okay.
Well, she's obviously like the criminal kind of identity, so she can use all the criminal cards very well, like stuff like account siphon and stuff like that. We will see those probably in the future very, very soon. I also wanted to point out that he did a... what did he do? A Dirty Laundry run on my archives, which is a very cool trick. Dirty Laundry gives you 5 money if you do a successful run on a server. And he did it on my archives, which wasn't protected, which is usually not protected very early on. So it's like a very easy way to make money.
Huh. That's a good tip.
Yes, so I am installing stuff. I have created a server. And of course, this is like a bait for the runner to run into it, right?
Yeah. So, how do you feel about him tracking your clicks?
Oh, that's super okay, because you, especially like when you're like in the middle of a run or something, it's so easy to lose track of how many clicks you have. So it's very good that he does that. So yeah, he does the run on the server I set up, and if he ran into my trap gloriously. I set up a rotor turret there, an ice that trashes a program and stops the run. And of course, because this run was unsuccessful, he gets like a tag from John Mazzanori as well. So this went really, really horribly for him.
So, just so I remember, what do tags end up doing?
Well, in this game they won't be doing that much, but if there are some decks that can exploit tags.
Okay.
For me, the only thing I can do is I can... let me explain this very quickly. He used Inside Job, which is a card that lets you skip one ice when you do a run. And he did it to access my server, and he found inside there was only a very simple Jackson Howard. He thought it was he thought it was an agenda because I had protected it with ice, and I counted on him thinking that it was an agenda, and set up this trap for him. So off the bat, I'm doing quite well. He wasted a lot of resources to get into the server. I did something very stupid. Before he was able to trash my Jackson Howard, I used Jackson Howard, and I thought that in hindsight this wasn't a good idea because there weren't many cards in my graveyard. Jackson Howard lets you, if you trash him, it lets you get cards from your graveyard back in your deck.
Now you'll never know if the cards you were going to draw are better than the cards you just shuffled for.
Yeah, that's also something that Jackson Howard does. When you put the cards in your deck, you have to reshuffle them. So if somebody like prepared cards, there's like cards you can play to see, the runner can see what kind of cards you will draw in the future rounds, like 5 cards or so. Yeah. And then you can use Jackson Howard to reshuffle your deck, and so to eliminate that advantage.
I really like Inside Job. I think that's probably the most iconic picture that this version of Netrunner has. Oh yeah, definitely. This guy looks so pumped, so jacked up. He looks so cyberpunk.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, the tags. So far, the only thing I can use the tags for is if the runner is tagged, I can use a click and pay money, and I can trash resources of the runner.
Oh, that's good. I see that he's already gotten rid of his tag.
Yeah, he removed it, which is smart. Because I could pay 2 monies and a click to trash his John Mazzanori. Which, spoilers, I will actually never do throughout the entire game. Which is, okay. In hindsight, is maybe yet another mistake. So I think he does a run on R&D.
Reddit will judge you. I'm not going to judge you.
So I'm resing an ice. This is a very fascinating ice. It is Chimera. You know Chimera?
Multi-headed?
Well, kinda is. You res it for 2, and then you can select a type of ice it should be, and it will become that ice until the end of turn, and at the end of turn, it will de-res away.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So you can always, as a corporation, you can pick the ice that is least convenient for the runner. But the problem is that you have to res it every time he does the run, so that's kind of like really annoying.
Yeah, so it's costly but useful.
Yeah, it kind of like realized throughout this tournament that I have another one of those on the other server. I have realized very quickly that this is a very, for a runner, this can be a very convenient way of like milking the corporation out of money, because they can keep running on a server protected by Chimera, and then the corporation will be forced to rest this ice over and over again, and this can really drain the resources of the corporation.
No kidding. Oh, and because it was an unsuccessful one, he got another trace?
Yes, he got another tag for the unsuccessful run. Tag. Which is good. So he used some kind of program. I'm not really sure. I think it was a self-modifying code. Not really sure. Anyway, he got Codebreaker out, which is a fairy, which is a one-time use Codebreaker against Sentry. Very cost-effective and very, very nice, but you have to trash it after you use it. So you can get through ice once.
And both of you guys are very low on cash.
Yeah, we are kind of like both. So he's playing a Another Don't Laundry, I guess on my archives again. So he draws a card and gets money. I mean, that's very convenient for him.
This is a rule I always wondered about. If there is nothing in the archives, can you still make a run on archives?
Yes. Archives always exist. That's not the same for remote servers. If there's no cards in a remote server, it ceases to exist.
Yeah.
So he does a run on R&D. I don't res, and he scores an agenda. 1 point agenda, but still.
Still, that's 1 point?
Yeah.
At this point, do you have any agendas installed?
No, I don't think so. I don't think. I'm not really sure. It's hard to see my hand, but I don't think so. By the way, he uses also a sure gamble to get more money. Oh yes, I did. I just scored an agenda. Ha!
Ah, very good.
There we go. It was installed in the server. The server was quite well protected by Chimera, and I used the entire turn to put 3 advancement counters on it and score it right there. It is Project Vertovius. Vertovius, kind of like difficult to spell this. But yeah, it's a 2-point agenda.
So he made another run on your R&D?
Yes. Okay. But there was nothing inside. Kind of like an unfortunate situation for me right now because I don't have any money to res the Chimera protecting R&D.
Yeah.
So it's wide open for him. It's kind of like always like this. You spend money to advance an agenda, and you always often end up being drained of any resources. So that's kind of like a good moment for the runner to rush in and score some free agendas. A lot of thinking. Lots of thinking. He has 7 money right now, I think. I have 1 money. He gets more money. And it's my turn. So I am installing things. I'm getting money for the installation. And otherwise, I'm just getting more monies.
So a little while back, we were wondering what card it was that they played in order to get an icebreaker out there. It is the card Special Order.
Oh, it was Special Order, of course. I missed it. Yes. One of the cards that criminals can play.
It's. I was just looking at the artwork for Andromeda in the original set. That was kind of a risque piece.
Oh, it had like exposed nakedness?
Sort of. It's like well, maybe it's the one that's on Octagon then. It's a woman sitting on a couch with a teddy bear in negligee.
Ooh. Wow, risque indeed. So he just used infiltration to check out what card I put in my server in there, and he found out that it is a Sensen. Sensen is one of the very, very famous cards that lowers the advancement costs for agendas in the same server. It's an upgrade for a server. So he knows that I will be advancing agendas in the server. And then he plays Hostage to get a connection from his deck and installed immediately.
So, what's the theme of this guy's deck?
Not really sure. He uses a lot of connections for sure. So he gets Katie Jones. Do you know Katie Jones?
I do not.
Katie Jones is kind of like reverse bank. You use clicks to pay money on her, and then you can spend a click to get the money from her again, but you can use her only once per turn. So you can kind of like invest money in her, and she will hold that money, and then after you will get it back from her.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little bit slow because you have to charge her up, but it's good that because she holds your money for you. So if there is some kind of card that the corporation uses to drain your wallet, you still have some money protected by her, so to speak.
Yeah.
But of course, if the corporation trashes her, is going to be very unfortunate for you. I'm using a hedge fund to get more money. Money-wise, I'm looking quite well right now. I installed another thing as well.
Is that actually an agenda?
No, I haven't installed anything in my advancement server yet. I installed ice in front of my R&D because I want to protect my R&D. So
I really do enjoy it. Is that playmat? Does it have like a foam under it?
I haven't used playmat. I don't like using playmats too much because I think they make everything very busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, he did yet another dirty laundry on my archives.
There's a lot of your corporation has a lot of dirty laundry.
Yeah, especially through my archives. There's something going on in my archives. I need to have a talk with this section.
You maybe need a better padlock for your dumpster.
Well, that's exactly what I did. I just put ice in front of my archives to protect it from dirty laundry. Am I drawing a card? And what else? What will I do? Third click, drawing another card. And it is the runner's turn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like using mats. I don't know. I had the opportunity to get one of those playing mats in a tournament because I was third in the last tournament. But I decided against it. I took a card instead.
So is it foam underneath it? Like, is it padded in some way?
Yeah, it is. It is soft for sure.
Okay.
He's thinking a lot.
No kidding.
All right, he's playing Professional Contacts, which is a really great card. I have it in my deck as well. It allows you to get 1 money and draw a card with 1 click.
So, which do you prefer playing? Do you prefer playing the runner or the corporation?
Hard to tell. It depends on my mood. Like, corporation is kind of like passive. You can kind of sit back a little bit and then enjoy. And runners, you have to be like active and devise strategies and like, you know, show a lot of initiative.
For whatever reason, I enjoy playing corporation. I think it's just because I like manipulating lots of different things.
Yeah.
And Krystian just loves... No. Krystian also loves corporation. So I always have to play runner.
So I installed something in my advancement server. So now, of course, the runner is challenged to do a run on the advancement server because things might be happening.
That is a lot of stuff to not try and run it.
On the other hand, I haven't advanced it yet, so this might be a decoy. We don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm doing in the same turn I install it, I'm doing something else. So this is a clue that this might be not an agenda after all. I'm installing stuff in front of my my HQ, which represents my hand.
You are well protected at this point.
Yeah, I'm installing a lot of stuff right now. I'm expanding. That's kind of like what HB does. I mean, my identity gives me money for installing, so I'm always kind of like encouraged to install. In fact, sometimes if you have too much cards on your hand, you might just install random ice somewhere just so you get the money. Because, you know, otherwise you would get money and, you know, install something and you get the money. So yeah, you're always encouraged to install. And he, look at him. He creates like he cashes in his money from Katie Jones, and he gets out a Crypsis, and he puts a Crypsis token, and he makes a run on the server.
Oh man!
As expected, Crypsis is a code breaker that breaks everything.
Yeah, Crypsis is amazing.
It's really good. So I res Chimera, but he uses Crypsis to break it, and then he uses Trash's Ferry to break Rototurret, and it's another Jackson Howard. LOL! I trolled him yet again!
Sadly, you trolled him, but you still aren't... I mean, you don't have any agendas going.
No, but he used his entire money to trash Sensen and Jackson Howard from there. I mean, and he had to trash his ferry. I mean, he had to use a lot of resources to get through that server. I drained him quite a bit. So this gives me an opportunity to install something in that server. And what could it be? We don't know.
Another Jackson Howard.
That would be really, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it seems like he may just be using a slightly modified Andromeda basic deck.
I'm not sure. He's John Masserori really kind of confused me because that's not a card I see quite often. But yeah. I was kind of surprised how effective it was. I mean, the drawback of getting attack often just doesn't matter anyway, and being able to draw a card every turn just by running, which you do want to do anyway, is pretty sweet. So
old John Mazanori.
John Mazanori, by the way, has the best, one of the best flavor texts.
I've been logging online with babes all day. Don't worry, the connections are clean. I guarantee.
So good. So good. There's a lot of like pop references in Netrunner.
Definitely.
Like Archer has a quote from the series Archer and stuff like that.
Oh, it reminds me, I need to watch the 4th season. Oh man,
I have never watched that series, but I know the Danger Zone quote if I see it. All right, so he gets out another code breaker. This time it is a corroder, which gets him through barriers, and he discards a special order. So I'm installing another thing in my sweet server. One of those cards is probably an agenda. It could be an agenda. We don't know.
So, for your corporation deck, what is your theme? What is it supposed to be doing?
It is kind of like very standard, very vanilla HB, kind of fast advance. I mean, it has like the Sansan and custom biotics. No, not custom biotics, what did I say? Biotic labor to advance things quickly. But it has also quite pretty sweet suite of ice, and I get, of course, the advantage for installing that ice. So I basically get out these huge servers and advanced agendas in them. It is very benign. It doesn't have really aggressive things that kill or hurt the runner, which is also why kind of like the tags don't really matter in this game.
Okay.
Alright, so I installed things, got him some monies, I think, or even like a card. He gets monies and puts monies on Katie, and then he thinks. If he obviously he wants to get in my server because there's lots of cards in there. He loads up his Crypsis. Crypsis is loaded.
Crypsis is so frustrating. So frustrating.
Crypsis is really nice because it breaks every ice.
Yeah, you just have to keep it pumped with virus counters.
Yeah, that's the only problem. So it's kind of slow because you have to prepare it before you do anything. Yes. He discards. Was it a discard? Yeah, that was a discard. Right?
Yes.
He doesn't know.
It is emergency shutdown.
Yes, indeed. We will see that card.
That's a nice card, though. If he made it through your HQ, he could de-res some other piece of ice and force you to spend a lot of money.
Interesting. He discards a console. I don't know why. You would want to install that kind of console.
Consoles, you usually want at the beginning of the game, right?
I don't know. By the way, I am resing that one of the cards I installed my server. It is an Adonis campaign. I res it at the beginning of my turn so I can use it immediately. That's kind of like a cool trick.
So sexy.
Adonis campaign is basically a card that you put lots of money on it, and then you can get, like at the beginning of the turn, you get money from it. So it's basically a money card.
And you get to look at some hot dudes.
Yeah. Hot dudes. Right. I'm doing Biotic Labor, the whole trick Biotic Labor, which gives me additional clicks. Then I install something, and then I advance it. And I have enough clicks to advance an agenda, three advancement points agenda. Which is in this case a accelerated beta test, which I draw 3 cards from my deck, and if it's ice, I can install it immediately and res it. And in this case, it's 2 of them is ice, so I get even more ice out. Look at this fortress of ice.
You guys are gonna need another tape.
Oh yeah. He's actually Alex is complaining a little bit. Because I'm taking up too much space.
Well, tell him to finish rolling out his mat so that you can have it as well.
He's like, oh, those corporations always taking up all the space.
See, that's what the corporation does. It grows.
Yeah, I know.
It grows and grows and grows.
So it is a wall of static and an Eli or Ellie, I don't know, Yes.
That's so much ice. Oh my god.
Yeah. Five ice server. That's a very tricky server to get into right now.
Oh man, I feel so bad for you though. It seems like you're not drawing as many agendas as you should be.
Well, if that's what happens, you have to run with it. You have to wait until agendas come out. I'm in the lead because right now I have scored 4 agenda points and he has only 1.
No, you have to complain that you're not drawing well. This is a card game, man.
That's there will be plenty of opportunities to complain about that. Don't you worry about that. Yes.
So, did he offer to put the mat on the table and you said no?
No, he kind of he automatically put the mat so it's like perfectly down in the middle of the table. He makes a run on HQ because he assumes I have agendas on my hand. I don't know if he's right. I think he isn't right.
I think at this point you can probably assume that you probably don't have agendas in your hand.
Yeah, if I had them, I would probably install them.
See, I would go for the R&D.
So he breaks. He shows me what he breaks, and then I show him my cards. It's successful, and he sees an ice.
There's more where that came from, buddy.
Let's see if we can get the 6th ice on that server.
You just need to put like 10. That way he can't do anything.
If I get my ice all the way back to his side, it will turn into a beautiful butterfly.
But yeah, for you, I mean, it's obvious you have not been drawing a lot. I would just constantly run on your R&D.
Yeah, that's a good strat. Interesting that you come up with a strategy. Because somehow my R&D is not very well protected at this point. There's just 2 ice there.
Why wouldn't he go there?
And we know that one of the ice is Chimera, so it's not very...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just be loading up Crypsis and just running on your R&D. Because there's nothing that you could do to stop Crypsis.
Indeed, but Crypsis, takes a lot of resources. I mean, yeah, Crypsis is great against Chimera because Chimera has 0 strength, so you don't even have to load, pump up Crypsis for it. You just need to put a token on it. And I have Chimera installed in R&D, so yeah.
Because I guess for me, I would be doing 2 virus tokens on Crypsis, 1 on the Katie, so I can store some money, and then 1 on just running.
You mean clicks? You would use clicks?
Clicks, yeah. And that way you could just keep up a constant attack on you.
So he uses this emergency shutdown on Eli, dereses it, and then he makes a run on this huge, humongous server. I check which ice I want to res. I'm checking which ice will actually stop him. And it is Chimera still because he doesn't have a code gate breaker ice. And to get through Rototurret, he would have to use Crypsis. So
this is one of those games. It's like watching 2 people play Blue in Magic. They're just trying to control the entire scope of the game.
I must say it's also early in the morning, and I think we both are kind of like.
You need more coffee, man.
There's so much. Oh yeah, so I'm playing successful presentation because I stopped him in this run, so I'm able to get some money from this. And he forgot to put a token tag on his card, but of course that doesn't matter that much in this game.
Yeah. This is just interesting. It's like this is what happens when people just draw badly.
Yeah, I mean that's sometimes what happens. You just don't have any agendas in the game, and you both are kind of like playing this dance, and there's just no music playing.
I just want to keep saying it for people who are watching because they're like, "Why is this game going so long?" And it's going this long because the gods that control randomization are angry.
So I'm kind of bored, so I put an ice on my archives. Just because I can. It doesn't cost me anything, and I have otherwise I would probably discard it anyway.
I mean, your deck is doing exactly what it should be doing. It's just there's not enough to protect.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. I think to some extent, I'm also waiting for the Adonis campaign to run out, so I could put something else in that server. I don't want to be trashing prematurely because then, I would be losing things. And then, of course, he plays Account Siphon. Just when I had some good money going on, he makes an Account Siphon. You know what that card?
It is make a run on HQ. If successful, instead of accessing cards, you may force the corporation to lose up to 5 monies. Then you gain 2 monies for each credit lost and take 2 tags.
Which is a ridiculous card. So
it is.
Every time this gets played against you, as a corporation, you want to get rid of your money in case if you cannot stop him. Because that money will go away anyway.
So you just res all the ice?
Yeah, I didn't actually do that. I should have res like other ice as well. Yeah. I just rest ice in the server. I probably could have rest other ice in other servers as well, just to get rid of all the money, so he wouldn't get the credits. But I rest Enigma right there at least, so he.
I don't see the 2 tags.
He doesn't have any tags at this point.
And the Account Siphon gave him 2.
Oh right, he didn't give him 1. Huh, interesting. Well, maybe he gave up, keeping track of the tags because I don't have anything to punish those tags anyway.
That's true. I like your your pawns, by the way.
Oh man, I love them so much. They're so useful. They're way better than the tokens he uses. I thought the tokens that he uses to track clicks are useful, but the problem is they're so flat. It's kind of sometimes difficult to peel them off the tail.
Yeah.
And using pawns like this is really sweet. So I realized my HQ is maybe a little bit unprotected, so I put more ice in there. Why not? Why not?
At this point, have you drawn any agendas?
I'm not sure. If we look at my hand, I'm not really seeing any agendas there, so maybe not. Maybe I should have just, eaten through my deck a little bit, drawn more cards. Discard it more until I get an agenda. But on the other hand, I'm not really in a hurry right now. I mean, I feel kind of confident because I have so much ice out.
And it looks like you still have quite a few cards left, so you don't have to worry about running out of cards and losing.
Well, that never happened, so I'm not very worried about that. He uses Sure Gamble, a very simple, very cool economy card to get more money. And then he gets a Yogg out. Oh man, I'm jealous. I love Yogg. Yogg is the best.
What does Yogg do?
It just breaks code gates for free. Which is tremendously powerful, but of course he cannot upgrade its power. He cannot pump it the way other icebreakers can be pumped. So my Adonis campaign run out. I have some monies. This is the time to maybe start doing some agenda stuff.
Oh man, Cthulhu would be so excited right now because this Yogg is a reference to Yogg Sothoth.
Oh yeah, it is absolutely a Cthulhu reference. I install something on my huge server. It might be an agenda. I res the Sensen.
Ooh.
Oh, will I?
Things are happening.
Will I score the agenda? I score the agenda indeed. So Sensen lowers the cost for this card by 1, so I can just cost 2 clicks to advance it and score it. So I can score it in 1 turn.
Is it 1 point or 2?
It's 2 points, so I'm at 6 points. I just need 1 point, and even just a 1 point agenda, and I win the game. And he still needs a lot. He uses this situation and makes a run on R&D. I don't have any money to rest the ice, and he scores an agenda.
Well played, well played.
Well played. He's at 3 points. He does it again. Scores another agenda.
Oh no!
He does it again, and not an agenda anymore. I was so furious when this happened. I was like, yeah, I almost won, and then he basically caught up with me. He's at 5 points, and I'm 6. This is so frustrating sometimes, this game. In 1 turn, he caught up with me.
This is because if all of the agendas are bunched together, it's like, well, I'm going to win quickly.
Yeah, now I'm in a really stupid situation because I don't have any money, and he has a little bit of money. So he can. I really need to get up my economy up, so I can protect my R&D because he can keep doing the stuff that he's been doing. To get 1 more agenda, and he wins then. Either way, the next agenda wins for both of us.
Man, we need some sort of tension music here. Man. This is the longest game of Netrunner I've ever seen.
It is quite exciting. I mean, he has quite a rig out. He uses infiltration to get some money, and he uses yet another account siphon because I just got some money, and that we can't have that, can we? So this time I'm smart. I'm using all my money to res the roto turret.
Oh, I would have resed something on your R&D.
And he uses all sorts of icebreakers to get all through here. Well, I kind of want him to get rid of the money, and I want him to spend resources to get through. So he doesn't get the money, and he just looks at my cards. He doesn't have the money to trash the Sensen, and I already have a Sensen out anyway, so why would he trash it?
Yeah. Oh, man. Man, this game is tense.
It is super tense now because I just need 1 point. But I don't have any money, so it's kind of like I have to get money first, and then when I have money, I have to get to the agenda, and then I have to install it, and then I have to advance it. There's just so many things I have to do at the same time.
Cut this tension with a knife.
I can see that I have a successful presentation would give me a lot of money, but he would need to fail a run in order for me to play it. And I don't have the money for him to fail a run, so I'm just getting money at this point. And he uses yet another account siphon. So this is the third account siphon he uses now. So this is looking really bad for me. I don't have any money.
See, at this point, he should have so many tags. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he finally put some tags.
He did it for that one. Yeah, he should have 5 by my count, which doesn't really matter. But
we haven't counted how many runs he missed, because John Mazadori always gives him... So he makes a run on R&D. I don't have any money to res any ice, but I'm lucky and there is no agenda in there. It's just hedge fund. But I don't have the money to use hedge fund. So I'm just using my entire turn to just get money, to get back on my feet.
Account siphon again.
Well, he already used 3 account siphons, I think, so that would be...
cheating.
That would be cheating. Maybe he has some way of bringing things back from archives. I don't know, man. At this point, I'm a little bit... my nerves are, completely exposed.
Oh, man, this is just too much.
So many cards on the table. Look at this.
I can't even look at this game anymore.
What will happen? He has quite a bit of money, so he has... I think he can break all code breakers. Well, he has Scripses out. He has also dedicated code breakers to barriers and code gates. He doesn't have a dedicated sentry code breaker yet, but he can always use Scripses. So he makes a run on R&D. I'm thinking about resing. I think one of the cards is... I think the second one is certainly Chimera.
Yeah.
And I think the first one, I'm not exactly sure what the first one is. I think it is...
it looked like a wall of static.
No, I think it's Grim. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm resing Chimera, and now we have the situation I talked about. He will keep running R&D, and this will force me to keep resing Chimera. But that always costs me two monies, and so I will never get up financially if you continue like this.
Yeah.
So he kind of has me like in a vice. Luckily, there was no agenda on there, so his initial luck ran out. And every time he runs from R&D, I'm like, holding, crossing fingers that it's not an agenda.
That's so crazy.
But of course, I cannot score an agenda either, because every turn he makes a run on R&D. So every time he checks the card, I will draw next turn.
Yeah.
So he kind of like locks me out of agendas. I don't have any agendas on my hand.
So you can take 2 clicks and draw 2 cards, right?
Yeah, I could always do that. But if I do that, I won't be able to get money. In order to stop him from doing like that won't decrease the chances of him getting an agenda. He uses a inside job to get on my hand, because he maybe expects there may be something agendas on my hand, but there's
no agendas anywhere.
No agendas, sir.
It's like the last 10 cards of your deck are all agendas.
Well, he run on R&D, so there's nothing else he can do.
How interesting.
And maybe he thinks that I'm not paying agendas because I don't have the money.
It's possible.
It's possible, yes. Discards another console. I'm drawing the card that he saw, which I think is Biotic Labor. Really not sure what to do now. I mean, I need money. So that's what I'm doing, the thing I talked about. I'm installing just random ice in the server. Because it gives me money anyway, right? So instead of just getting money, I can just as well get the cards out.
I think I would have said to... I know that works. But if there's an ice there, he can make a run, but just nothing happens, right?
Yeah.
But it would still count as a successful run.
Yes. But I mean, he's doing successful runs on my R&D anyway. So that's not a disadvantage to me. And it always gives me an opportunity to maybe install some kind of money card in there,
Man, these are the kind of games that make you either frustrated or just absolutely love this game.
I love these kinds of games. I mean, this was such an exciting game because it was like this very elaborate. There were so many possibilities this can turn. You have to kind of figure out how to get out of this situation. He has to figure out how to get in all those servers. I really love when Netrunner turns out like this.
Oh man.
Not sure. I think I have 4 monies. He gets another ferry.
And none of those things cost memory? How they do?
I'm not sure. He might have made a mistake there. I'm not exactly sure. I think ferry doesn't have a memory cost. Not really sure. Yes. So he makes a run on R&D again. I'm not rezzing the outer ice. I'm rezzing the inner ice, which is Chimera. Again, draining me of 2 monies. He can, of course, get through Chimera.
So Fairy costs 1, and the other 2 cost 1, so he has 3.
So he trashes Fairy to get through Chimera because I made Chimera a sentry, but he doesn't see agenda. And I'm always raising Fairy because I think, okay, he will have to use resources, and then that's going to be like the final run he can afford, because then Fairy is trashed and he won't be able to get it the next turn. But of course, he always finds a way to get in anyway.
Oh, okay, so he's okay on memory units because standard runner has 4.
Yes,
and he's only got 3 out right now. Or wait, what's?
Yes, he has 3 out. Yes, and he had Fairy. That was the 4th one. Yes, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'm just looking for some outs in case you lose.
Nah. He plays very well. So I finally can afford to get another ice in front of my R&D to maybe stop him. I have 3 monies. Maybe I will be able to res it.
Oh my god, it's so much ice.
So much ice.
I think at this point, as a runner, I would just be like, whatever, I'm going home.
He gets a Mimic. No, he's doing well. I mean, he just needs to get 1 more ice. He really needs it. He really pushes it, I mean. So he gets monies with Sure Gambles and gets out a Mimic, which lets him break sentries. And he does another run on R&D. So I'm rezzing the new ice. Yes, I'm rezzing the new ice. It's a wall of ice. He gets through with his barrier breaker. I'm not rezzing the middle ice. I'm rezzing Chimera, but he has a sentry breaker now, so he gets through it anyway. I'm trying to figure out what's the most expensive way of doing this, but it doesn't get more expensive than 1. And there is a final agenda right there.
Frustration.
Went quite well. I was able to get up like a huge fortress, but then he got me like in a kind of like financial vice, in a financial problematic situation, and I wasn't able to recover from this. He was able to score, apply pressure on my R&D, and score the final agenda.
If this game had kept going, you guys really could have hacked the planet.
Definitely. So join us in our next video from this same tournament. And until then, hack the planet!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Shit on me.